Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Highway and Building Committee meeting of Thursday, September 15th to order. And I'd like to thank everybody for taking the extra time here to come in the afternoon instead of being here in the morning. Seems to be a popular time. Everybody's here. So, roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Present.
Mr. Dennell?
Present.
Mr. Hess?
Present.
Mr. Tholen? Ms. Weber?
Present.
Mr. Featherling?
Present.
Mr. Long?
Present.
Mr. Hunter?
Present.
Ms. Hudson?
Present.
Mr. Smith?
Present.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Present.
Mr. Gowler? Mr. Raymond? Ms. Foster?
Present.
Mr. Wheeler? Mr. Seroy? We have a quorum.
Thank you. I don't have any public comment on my desk. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? See none. We need a motion and a second to approve the minutes from August 11, 2022. So that would be by Mr. Long. Second. Okay. Ms. Hudson. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, the same sign. All right. So next on the agenda would be Mr. Hayden with the highway.
All right, we'll start off with opening the bids for a 2000.
So we're gonna have to have a motion first, correct? All right, so we're gonna need a motion to open the bids. Okay, let's go with Mr. Alexander Hildebrand and Mr. Long second. Or next, you're gonna be Mr. Featherling. Okay, so there will be voice vote. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Go ahead, sir.
All right, let's start out. The first bid is from Hovey Buick GMC. And
yes, sir.
I need to ask Mr. Donnell a question because I thought I knew the answer to this, but now I'm questioning what I thought. Aaron, did we vote you in as a board as with an evergreen ability to vote or to do Zoom meetings when you injured your knee, or did we?
Yes, this is the third time you've asked me that, and yes, we did.
It was at a full board meeting and the whole board approved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I was just
my understanding.
Yep, I just was asked by the state's attorney. I just wanted to verify that. So thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
okay, the first bid from Hovey Buick is for $58,765. And the next bid is from, I'll find out when I open the envelope because it's not labeled on the outside. It's from Country Chevrolet. And their price is $55,914.80, which makes them the apparent low bidder. We'll take these bids back and compare them and make sure they all meet all the specs that we looked for in our proposal.
So it'll be only those two.
Sorry?
It'll be the two.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Mr. Hunter?
So no action is needed?
Oh, yeah. We gonna need to have a motion to accept the lowest responsible bidder.
Contingent upon them meeting all the specs, right?
Right.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion to accept the lowest responsible bid after review by the engineers. Mr. Featherling will be second.
Sure, but I have a question.
That was, okay.
Okay, make my motion and count that, okay? Greg, is that, Greg, is that just for a bare bones white Chevy 250 four-door pickup truck?
We printed out 2 pages of
that's the state
specs.
bid, right? So
yeah, we're gonna compare that to state bid as well.
But I mean, that's just a bare bones truck, rubber mats, there's no fancy wheels or anything like that, obviously.
Right, it's just like our engineering trucks that we've got now, and
Okay.
we'll end up buying a body to put on it so they can put all their equipment in.
Okay. So that's coming too after this then, the box for the back?
Right,
So just a pickup without even a bed on it?
right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we have a motion on a second, so that's gonna be a roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Dennell?
Aye.
Mr. Hess. Ms. Weber. Mr. Featherling. Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Hunter. Ms. Hudson. Mr. Smith. Mr. Alexander Hildebrand. Ms. Foster. Mr. Wheeler. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next will be the county engineer's pay estimate.
All right, I'll try to move through these pretty fast. First pay estimate is for Kankakee County, section 22-00000-00-GM supplement 4 to Grasso Construction in the amount of $104,848 from the county MFT fund. Next is Kankakee County pay estimate number 5 to Vulcan Construction Materials for materials used on the roadways in the amount of $13,478.79. Next is Pembroke Township pay estimate number 1 to Gallagher Materials for asphalt they use to, I assume, patch roads in the amount of $851.80 from the Township Motor Fuel Tax Fund. Next is Kankakee Bourbonnais Township pay estimate number 1 to Grasso Trucking for seal coating township roads in the amount of $19,648.92 from the Township Motor Fuel Tax Fund. Next is Janier Township pay estimate number 2 to Grasso Construction for seal coating township roads in the amount of $45,933.98 from the Township RBI Fund. Next is Mantino Township, section 22-07000-00-GM, pay estimate number 1 to Grasso Construction in the amount of $171,225.76, and that's split up amongst Township RBI, Township MFT, and Township local funds. Next, Moments Township, section 22-08000-00-GM, pay estimate 2 to Grasso Construction in the amount of $39,049.96 from the Township MFT Fund for seal and oil and shipping township roads. Next, Norton Township, section 22-09000-00-GM, pay estimate 2 to Grasso Construction in the amount of $78,357.40 for seal coating township roads, and that money is split between the Township RBI Fund and the Township MFT Fund. Next, Rockville Township, section 22-13-000-00-GM, pay estimate 1 to Grasso Construction in the amount of $19,051.33 from the Township RBI Fund, again for an oil and ship township roads. Sumner Township, section 22-16-000-00-GM, pay estimate 1 to Grasso Construction in the amount of $170,603.04 to split from the Township RBI, Township MFT, and Township local funds, and again for seal oil and shipping township roads. Next is Pembroke Township, section 22-11-000-00-GM, pay estimate number 8 to the Pembroke Township Road District Treasurer, and in the amount of $5,583.78 from the Township Motor Fuel Tax, and that's for equipment rental for their equipment to maintain the roads. Next, Pembroke Township, section 22-11-000-00-GM, supplement 1, pay estimate 5 and final to Toby's Construction and Cartage in the amount of $11,142.94 from the Township MFT Fund. And that's for aggregate base repair on township roads. That is my last one.
All righty. Any questions? No? Okay, we need a motion on the second to pay the county engineers estimates. Okay, so Ms. Weber? Okay, second press, that would be Ms. Foster. All right, so that would be a roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Dennell?
Aye.
Mr. Hess? Ms. Weber? Mr. Featherly? Mr. Long? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Hudson? Mr. Smith? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler? Motion carries.
Thank you. Next will be the resolution.
All right, this is a resolution authorizing the county board chairman to sign a letter of intent with Commonwealth Edison Company for a temporary easement on the Warner Road Bridge to install fiber optic cable facilities across the Kankakee River. They're improving their facilities on that end of the county, and they found out that they can't get their fiber optic over the river using the existing high towers they have there. So they asked for permission to temporarily use our bridge via some kind of temporary connection. I'm not going to let them drill any holes in it or anything like that. If they can figure out a temporary connection, we'll let them do that. But this is for a 3-year easement, and that'll buy them time to put up their official poles and then put it back where it belongs, overhead over the river. And
Hold on, Mr. Featherland. Go ahead. I got the microphone for you now.
Okay. Are they gonna go ahead and just string poles along the bridge for now, for 3 years then? And then run it around? Or
they
gonna
haven't
put it-
proposed what they're gonna do, but I would assume it would be something attached to the back of the concrete parapet.
Okay.
Something that you won't run into driving down the road, yet something that won't destruct our bridge. And it's up to them to figure out how to do it. We've given them the okay to try to come up with a solution to that.
Okay. So they're not gonna do any damage at all then?
That's the intent, that's
And
what
they'll
we're looking for.
Put it back the way it was when they found it?
So when they take their temporary connection off, it'll be as if they were never there. That's
Okay.
what I want to see out of them.
Thanks.
Well, got a question. Mr. Long?
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. That topic has come up before and it was denied before. What changed there?
Some financial, they found out prices boring under the river are too high. They've got a program going right now. They're rapidly coming towards that spot, and it shouldn't put us into a corner, but we're trying to work with them. Any other, I think, temporary connection is always, from what I hear, it involved drilling into something or attaching to our equipment, and that's where they have to come up with a solution. I don't want that to happen, and they haven't proposed a solution yet, but the onus is on them, not us. If they don't provide something like we want, then we're not going to let them do that.
You know, I am familiar with that project, and I just want to tell you that from my perspective, that project has not been run well, and we could discuss that after the meeting, but there are facts that you probably need to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Featherland first?
Are they planning on obstructing traffic or having to do any kind of signaling or anything? Is this stuff gonna be laying on top, or how? I mean, you're talking kind of vague.
The connection itself would be, but you would not see it driving down the road. It would be on the backside of the concrete wall, or somehow attached to maybe a bridge beam, although they were told the lower they are, the more chance you have of getting hit with ice. And that's their burden, not ours.
February can be rough over there.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I'll come back to you. Chairman Wheeler?
I've had conversations with ComEd about this. I got involved in the situation. The cost of going under the river was too great, of boring under it for them. This is a 3-year agreement. They wanted 5. Greg was only happy with 3. I supported him on that. And I believe that's where we ended up, right? It was the 3, okay, because it moved around.
They started with 10.
Yeah, they started with 10, yeah. So the major thing that I was concerned with is what is the project about? And they're telling me that it was to build redundancy on both sides of the river. If they lose it on one side, then they have it on the other, to pick up the fiber optic network. That's what the way it was explained to me was, to provide a constant ability to serve those communities on both sides of the river. Now, whether that is the case or not, I don't look at it as my project. They just want attached to our bridge without permanent fixtures, as per Greg's direction, and that's all we're concerned with here. We're not running the ComEd project. We just want to make sure it doesn't damage our infrastructure. And so I would say that that's kind of what we're considering here is allowing him, and it's nebulous because right now they haven't made the proposal. But I wouldn't see them putting it on the side that gets the ice flow rubbing up against it. That wouldn't make any sense. So we just don't see that in the drawings yet. Hope that makes sense. This is allowing him to move forward with that process.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Mr. Hunter and then come back to Mr. Smith and then Mr. Long again.
You heard the county board chairman use the word nebulous. And you've heard the comments from Commissioner Long and other questions are forthcoming. Greg, would it be possible that those individuals be brought into our next meeting or special meeting to discuss this and see if they would provide specificities and address some of the concerns that are being brought forth? In addition to, you heard Mr. Long say that he's familiar with the project. You heard initially that I heard they wanted 10 years and then you negotiated down to 3. There seems to be some unreadiness. I don't have a problem with the request here, but I think there maybe needs to be a full review of the principles and some of the questions that we may interject could be directed and responses on the record be provided.
Mr. Smith?
My questions have been answered. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back to Mr. Long then.
Thank you. First of all, in 1986, that bridge moved about 3 feet off its pedestals. And it had to be put back where it came from. So yes, on the east side of the bridge would not be a great place for them. But I would tell you that this, at the township level, this project at the township level has been a nightmare. I am very familiar with it because it crosses my property. There was a lot of action that took place early on 2 years ago when they started putting poles in places where they didn't have easements. They still don't have those easements. Once they get past you, they still have to get past Limestone Township. In their plan, for example, they were notifying owners on the other side of the road, and when they came in to put in poles, they didn't have the easement on, and it's a long story. It's not appropriate for here right now, but I'd be happy to share that with you, and we should probably have a conversation with Marcy Colbert out there at Limestone Township.
Okay, I'd be willing to do that.
Now, I'll have a question then for Mr. Wheeler here. With all of this discussion that we've been getting here, do you think that this should be something that we should go ahead and then make motion to approve, or we just, what's the pleasure of this committee? At this point, I heard suggestions of bringing them over here to the next meeting, or for discussions, or for more, you know, get a little bit more detail about the project and everything. So.
And this is a letter of intent, not a letter of approval. This is just that we're going to proceed with the process. Okay. We're going to get plenty more bites at the apple further down the line. We're going to get our concerns addressed or else.
Mr. Wheeler?
That was going to be what I emphasized, was it allows the conversation to continue. Okay. It's a letter of intent that, yeah, if you bring us a proposal that doesn't damage our bridge, we'll entertain that discussion, but they won't be here next month. That proposal is not going to show up here next month. That it will be, their engineers are going to work on it. We're going to want to know what types. I'm sure it's going to be adhesives. It won't be anything else. They're not going to drill into the bridge. You know, Greg, we're giving him the authority to do his job to protect our asset in the conversations. Now, what they do after they leave the bridge and the easements they have or don't have and all that other stuff, I kind of want to say that's not our lane, that's the township's lane, but then we could, that's just my opinion. You may feel differently, but we don't have jurisdiction in that area. So we have jurisdiction over the bridge. This allows us to protect our asset in the discussions. That's kind of the way I was putting it out there.
So the way I understand it, this is not something that like is a final word for an approval of any kind. It was just like the beginning of negotiation and talking and see where it goes. And many of it come back here according to what you're saying.
Basically, it was Greg saying, yeah, you know, 3 years is about as long as I'll go. I really wanted 2, is what he said. So we're not going to play games with this for very long. But like if they put it up there for 3 years and then nothing happens on the other side of it, it's gone. You know, so we're not going to deal with it anymore. So it's just saying if you get your project together and it's everything is done right, you can cross the river there while you do your overhead project. So that's kind of where it is.
Okay.
We're not approving it yet.
Gotcha.
We would want him to say, I'm good with it.
All right. Any other questions? Ms. Weber is 8.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you. I was just going to make the motion to approve the resolution.
Okay. Do I have a second? Mr. Smith? Ms. Smith? He made it? Oh, you did? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just going along with it because I knew we were going to say it. Mr. Fedlin made the second. I know, I'm just messing with you now. Just because you brought it up. Okay, so that would be a voice vote. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed, the same sign. Aye. Okay, for the record, I got one. All right, anything
That's
else?
all I have.
That's all. Thank you so much. Oh, Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Chairman. Before you get away from there, Greg, I'd like to thank you and your crew for jumping on that project on Industrial Boulevard so fast.
They finished it already? They never told me about it.
They were there.
I just told them a couple days
As I was finishing my walk this morning, they were there, and that probably was about 5.5 foot deep in front of that drain. So,
Well,
I think we probably saved a garbage truck from going through the road over there.
yeah, because if you see a little hole up top, it's a big hole at the bottom. It usually works that way.
It started out with just a little big one, and it got bigger and bigger every day that we walk, so, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, buildings. Mr. Andrews. Is that yours? Yeah, okay. Good afternoon.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna probably, you have some bids for us today, right? So,
Yep, we have Doug Bright with us here today. He was the architect for our basement project. Most of you, I'm sure, probably know him. So Doug is gonna coordinate the opening of the bids.
is that for the
After we get a
courthouse?
motion.
Is that what we're talking about, the courthouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Courthouse, the first item on the agenda.
I got you. So we're gonna need a motion to open the bids. Okay, Mr. Hildebrand, Mr. Fedlin, second. All right, so that will be a voice vote. Everybody in favor signify by say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Same sign.
I don't oppose that, just, Mr. Chairman. I just, you know, looking at this document here, I love to see the MBE and the FBE on this document, and take my hat off to you on this. Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right.
Okay, we good?
Go ahead.
All right, this is the bid opening for the lower level remodeling at the courthouse. The bids were due this morning at 9:00 a.m. and this is the bid opening for that project. This project will consist of a base bid, a single base bid to include all the work in the project. There is 2 contingency allowances on the project. One, a $50,000 general contingency allowance and a $25,000 plumbing allowance that is supposed to be included in the base bid. There were 2 addendums on the project, And as Mr. Hunter said, there are also MBE, FBE requirements for the project, as well as a bidder information and project history sheet. Okay, we're going to begin the bid opening. Our first bid received was from Bear Construction. In accordance with the specifications, the bids were due at 9 o'clock a.m. this morning. This bid was received at 9:20, and as stipulated in the specifications, we are recommending that this bid not be opened and returned to the bidder as stipulated in the specifications. Next bid is from Heritage Development. Heritage Development submits bid security in the form of a 5% bid bond. They have acknowledged receipt of addendums number 1 and 2, and have submitted a base bid price of $1,158,000, 1158000. Bidder information and project history has been submitted. MBE requirements have been satisfied. FBE apparently have not. When the requirements are not met based on the specification, the contractors check the box on their form. What that states is they have 7 days, if they are the apparent low bidder, they have 7 days to produce a good faith effort. And there's a lot of requirements in terms of the good faith effort, in terms of how they did not achieve the goals specified in the project. So like I said, they have satisfied MBE, FBE has not been submitted. Next bid is from Johnson Downs Construction. Johnson Downs submits bid security in the form of a 5% bid bond. They acknowledge receipt of addendum numbers 1 and 2. Have submitted a base bid price of $1,163,600, 1163600. Okay. Bidder information, project history has been submitted. No MBE, FBE submitted. They've checked the box for good faith effort. There is no bid from Kevin Nugent Construction. Our next bid is from Piggish Shimano Incorporated. PSI has submitted bid security in the form of a 5% bid bond. They've acknowledged receipt of addendums 1 and 2. Have submitted a base bid price of $1,141,696, 1141696. Bidder information and project history has been submitted. Do not see information on MBEFD. Next bid is from R&R Incorporated. R&R has submitted bid security in the form of a 5% bid bond. They acknowledge receipt of addendums 1 and 2. Submitted a base bid price of $1,361,700, $800. 1361800. There are 2 qualifications in the bid. Number 1, no temperature controls or backnet interfacing is included in base bid. Number 2, no moisture mitigation as it relates to flooring installation is included in our base bid. Bidder information, project history has been submitted. MBE has been submitted. Have to check the percentage. No FBE. Check the box of good faith effort. Okay, there is no bid from Simpson Construction. That concludes the bid opening for the courthouse lower level remodeling project. We're asking for this committee's approval to recommend the apparent low bidder pending the verification of specification requirements.
General Wheeler.
Lowest responsible bidder. I think that needs to be in there, please.
Yes.
Responsible. The word is key.
What'd I say?
I didn't think I heard responsible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions? Comments? No? All right, so we're gonna need a motion to accept the lowest responsible bidder after review. Now it's Mr. Smith. Okay, so that would be Ms. Hodgson second. And that is gonna be a roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Gentle?
Aye.
Mr. Hess? Ms. Weber? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Long? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Hudson? Mr. Smith? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler? Motion carries.
Thank you.
What's that number?
Lowest was PS Pigger Semino 1141696.
Okay, I got it right, okay.
Right. All right. So next on the agenda.
All right, next on the agenda.
Hold on a second.
In terms of, you know, that good faith effort makes me shiver. How will you review? Is that a subjective review? Was it empirical review? I mean, how are you going to take those folks to the woodshed in terms of, well, we tried and we did this, we did that, and there's no empirical evidence to support their articulation that they made a good faith effort?
There is a fairly lengthy list of bullet points in the specification that they're required to submit in terms of that verification. I don't have them memorized, but it's fairly involved in terms of who they contacted, phone numbers, addresses of people they contacted. If in fact they did receive a bid from an MBE or FBE contractor that was significantly higher than other bids that they received from subcontractors, that's a good faith effort. So there are several bullet points that they're required to satisfy, not only for this bid process, but for the grant process that's attached to this project.
Okay, and do you follow up to verify that which they articulated to you is correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Us along with the county as well, because like I said, Ben's been handling the grant application for this, and so he will be involved as well.
Ben, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Good man.
General Wheeler first.
I thought the important part is that these stipulations are from the grant, so they're codified by the state and Department of Commerce. So we have to follow that to the letter, and they elucidate what those are.
Right. Well, we take the requirements directly from the Capital Development Board, which handles all state construction. It's the same process that they use for their MBE and FBE. They're all to be qualified with CMS, with the state. So we use their same requirements. We just need to verify those.
I just didn't hear that articulated. I worked for the state for 39 years, so when you start articulating that stuff, fine.
Mr. Featherland, do you have a question?
Yeah, did Kevin Nugent Construction pick up a bid packet?
They were at the pre-bid, yes.
Okay, and then was Simpson Construction there too?
Yes.
And they decided they didn't want to bid on it?
They just chose not to bid.
I was just one curious.
This is a very challenging project.
It's pretty unusual. It's pretty unusual not for everybody to. They pay for that bid pack, right?
No.
Oh, you don't charge them $1,000 to pick up a set of plans? Everybody else does. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Nope. Okay.
All right, well, we'll move on. Next item on the agenda is the facility dude report for the month of August. We had 147 work orders in the system, so a pretty typical month. The financial report that you have in front of you there, you can see this year, fiscal year 22, we're sitting at 921,645, which is substantially higher than where we were at this time last year at 755,790. And as you probably recall from previous meetings, that is due to line item 87,510, which we're sitting at 155, and that is primarily all ARPA-related building improvements. So once we are able to move those items out of this budget, it's going to get us down to 766,592, which put us roughly 10,802 ahead of where we were at this point last year. So obviously I'd like to be below that number, but with current environment and prices and inflation and whatnot, I'm fairly pleased that we're sitting only $10,000 above where we were at this point last year. So any questions on the financial report? Okay, if not, next item on the agenda is Doug Bright with a basement remodel presentation. So we've got a floor plan we're going to bring up, and I'll let Doug go over this with you. And then we can zoom in, Doug, if you wanted to zoom in on different areas, we can.
Sure. We can kind of start on the left side. So basically, this project has been a long time coming. I think we actually had a variation of this that was bid in 2013. So it's been a long time coming. It's changed significantly since that first time. There's not a lot of spaces in the basement of the courthouse that are not going to be touched by this project. If you could scroll down just a little bit. So basically what we're doing is we're doing a pretty good expansion of the jury assembly area that's in the basement. We're spreading things out quite a bit more and providing more capacity. We have a couple auxiliary rooms that we can use for overflow for jury assembly. And in the new jury assembly rooms, all of the existing finishes are going to be replaced: flooring, ceiling. We're painting the walls, we're freshening it up, we're making it a lot more inviting down in that area to try and alleviate what many refer to as the dungeon. We're trying to make it a lot less dungeon-like down there.
Doug, can I interject a little?
Yes, sir.
So you all are aware, kind of get your bearings here. The ramp is right here, so that'd be the southwest corner of the courthouse. So you've got the vestibule here, and then this new security area, and then what he's discussing is jury assembly, which is this area here, moving into this area, and then up top here where Kelly had scrolled down. You can go back up, Kelly, so we can show them. There you go. And then expanding into this area as well. So that should give you kind of an idea of where he's at in the project. Go ahead.
One of the features that we're adding to the jury assembly area is we're adding cell phone lockers, basically for all the jurors. We have capacity for full capacity phone storage. So basically those different storage lockers for cell phones will be used for the potential jurors to put their phones in when they go up to the courtroom. Basically have a key lock with like a wristband key and come down and get their phone again. We also have about 36 laptop lockers as well. So if someone brings down their laptop, it'll be the same concept. They can lock and secure their laptop when they go up to jury. We've also added a new another toilet room in the jury assembly area, just to kind of expand upon what's already there. And then down below that, Kelly, if you want to scroll down just a little bit, off to the right of that, we're adding a new public women's washroom downstairs because we're going to have more of a population downstairs, so we're expanding the bathrooms. And then also right above that, an additional toilet as well. Off of that area is a small holding area, which the sheriff is going to use for the instances where they need to keep people who are on trial in the building at certain times. So there is a secure holding room that we've added there. And then off to the right, the entire east side of the lower level of the courthouse, which really wasn't being expanded upon the first time around. This time we're taking that old storage area. Kelly, if you want to scroll up to the right, yeah. That whole area, which is storage area right now, we're converting into an open office area for the clerks, which is going to have room for 14 workstations down in the open office. Redoing the lunch area that's down there, and also creating a new secure evidence room. We're getting rid of that so-called evidence room that's down off the lunchroom right now that's not all that secure. So the new evidence room would be there. In the middle of the lower level, it's basically just some remodeled office space, along with the video room at the top, which is going to be pretty much maintained the way it is right now. So there's, like I said, going to be a substantial change to the basement lower level, which is long overdue.
Talk about flow from the jury room into the elevator and how that's going to work. Can you scroll up a little bit, Kelly, please?
Sure. So basically, they're going to the jurors are going to come down the ramp. They're kind of going to come down into a new vestibule, into a new security area. The new security area is going to have its own X-ray machine and its own metal detector down there. So jurors are going to be screened in the morning when they come in. They'll enter into the jury assembly as they do now, which is through the past the jury commission office. And when they come out of the jury area, they're going to be coming through that passage just on top of that toilet room there, through that new door. We're actually creating a new opening in one of these 2-foot thick walls, which should be fun, which would be a straight shot into the elevator, right through that hallway. And they could also come through straight down through that opening and go up the stairs as well, back behind security if they want to use that way as well.
If you remember from now, you come in the vestibule and you kind of turn the corner, and you've got a very narrow area right now to get you over. So this is going to be a lot cleaner, a lot wider than what it is now.
Should be more efficient for sure, and definitely going to be more inviting.
Chairman Wheeler?
I just want to clarify something, that it's a temporary place for the clerks while we address the ADA issues in that office upstairs. They're going to need to move somewhere while we do that work, phase 2, if you will. So that's why we're building that, and then it opens up the possibility of potentially, and I talked to the public defender about this, moving the public defender into the courthouse, because then you have a secured entrance for them outside of that. So it can go a lot of different ways. I just didn't want the clerks who haven't really heard about it thinking we're putting them in the basement. Right. I didn't want to get those phone calls in the next few days. So, thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions and comments? Ms. Weber?
Thank you. So all those stacks of books and files are out of there now, you're saying?
No, almost. Almost.
That was a lot.
They've been working very hard on that for quite some time, and they're getting there. So basically, if everything moves along as scheduled, I think we're looking at starting construction November 1st is our schedule.
Really?
Yes. It's a nice winter project, being inside, and so yeah, we're looking at knocking this whole thing out as quick as we can.
Anybody else?
HVAC, any changes, upgrades, because that was part of the project.
Right, we have new mechanicals that are being redistributed. We've also got new mechanical systems over in the east side where we're expanding upon over there. But everything that we're adding some more outside air intakes as well. So yes, we are including that. And just to clarify, we did have as I stated at the beginning of the bid opening, a contingency for plumbing, a plumbing allowance on this. And the reason for that was there's some of this where we just don't know where it goes, and we couldn't find anything. So we're really not going to know until we, start tearing things open where things are. And so it was impossible for us to give the contractors a definitive direction on what to bid with certain plumbing items when we didn't know where they were. I mean, we have an idea of where some of it is, but I mean, it's an old building that didn't have a lot of stuff in it 100 years ago, and now we're, with today's technology and today's plumbing and today's systems, it's very difficult to integrate all this stuff into this type of space.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. 3 questions. Speaking of 100 years ago, how old is that building?
I believe it's 1905 or 7. It's in that range.
Bones, you know?
It took him more than 1 year to build.
I thought Bones made the. I was young. Yeah. Okay. He was in swaddling clothes. And also, you know, listening to you guys talk about this, is there any underground expansion to the east or west or anything at all, or not?
No, we're within the footprint of the building.
Same footprint.
Yes.
Okay. How overall, if you can give it to me, how many jobs are you going to be able to create with this whole project? Anybody know?
That I can't answer.
I'm sure the chairman will get those numbers that we don't know right now. Yeah.
It's tough when that,
Well,
the contractor would have to tell us that. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. But, you know, that's good stuff, though, too. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Comments, question? Mr. Long will be 5. Okay, go ahead.
Is there a new exit on the north side of the building from the basement?
That is an existing.
It does
it's
exist?
existing. Yes, it's an existing exit that exists right now. It's on the northeast side of the building. It's got an area well with stairs that go down into there. Yes.
Okay.
Yep, right there.
Mr. Hess?
2 comments. One, you mentioned this is a good wintertime project, and if you look up there, there's not much coat storage for all that jury assembly, is there?
We do have a coat area that's there right now, but you know, that can be addressed with individual type coat racks if necessary. I mean, the what we have shown there in terms of seating and arrangement is a suggestion, and I think that things can be modified certainly with fixtures and furnishings to accommodate whatever the need is there. So.
Second comment, Mr. Hunter mentioned me being old, but what about the old walkway that went under Court Street going to the old jail? Has that been all blocked up?
I don't know anything about it.
There used to be.
So I've been told, but yeah, it's not there.
One goes to City Hall, to the old City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Police department.
That's interesting.
Seriously, I went under Court Street back in late 50s probably.
Wow.
So yeah, sorry.
Chairman Wheeler?
I can tell you it's not under the front steps because I've seen under there.
Right.
So we saw that movie, but it came in on the side? Okay.
Yeah.
And we didn't see any openings. We were down there. We're inside the mechanical rooms. If it's there, it's been walled off.
Well, the interesting thing about this too is that I do have a scanned copy of the original drawings of this building as well, and with the exception of the boiler room as it sits today, the entire basement was unexcavated. So from the time it was built until today, someone had excavated the basement and made it into usable space sometime between 1905 and today. I don't know when that would be, but that's interesting as well.
It's the third courthouse.
Yes.
The first 2 burned.
Right.
Alrighty. Anybody else? Chairman Wheeler?
Last thing, generator. We're obviously looking at that in the future. That requires a big commitment on switch gears and things like that. How would we retrofit that if we're able to get FEMA to pay for a generator and that kind of work? Is there a thought where that would be able to enter into this down the road? Would it have to be outside and come in through the? I'm just curious on how that works.
The generator would most likely definitely need to be outside, and it would take an analysis from an electrical engineer to take a look at how the service is fed for the building and how a generator would integrate into that. I mean, it's not something that you would have to completely redo, I don't think. We've put in generators in older buildings before. It's just a matter of hooking them together. So it would, but it would need something that would be something that would require analysis from an engineer on.
Okay.
Okay. Next would be the mail machine.
You're dismissed.
Thank you.
All right, so the next item on the agenda, and Doug, thank you for the presentation, is the mail machine. So I've been working on this. We currently have our lease is coming up on our current mail machine. So I have been in communication with Quadient, which is the current provider of our mail machine, and they are proposing a new lease. The current lease that we have right now, like I said, is going to expire. We are paying $1,032.96 a month right now for our mail machine. And so everybody's aware we have a courier that I manage through the maintenance department. He makes his rounds about the buildings daily, collects the mail, it goes down to the mail room, he sorts it, and then runs everything through the machine. He then takes it over to the post office, and then every department gets billed for their usage of for their portion of the postage for whatever it is that they're mailing. So the current lease, like I said, is $1,032.96. The new lease, after much negotiation and back and forth, I have them at $769.66 a month, which is a savings of $263.30 a month versus what we were looking at prior. It's a new machine, and what's very important is, and I had to do a little research on this, the new machine prints the indicia that needs to be on the envelope per the post office, I believe in 2024. The indicia is the markings that are going to go on the envelope with the postage, and our current machine does not provide that. So this is it's a code that's on the that goes on there with the postage. So the $769.66 a month is Illinois state approved pricing. Quadient, I did look into this, is the only manufacturer of the machine that we're currently using. So it's sold by Quadient, it's manufactured by Quadient. So I would be looking for, I guess, first any questions on the mail machine, and then ultimately a motion to have the chairman sign a lease with Quadient to get this new machine in here prior to the expiration of the current lease. So any questions on the mail machine? Oh, yeah, 48 months.
Any questions? So even though it's, we don't have any on the agenda for the motion, but we're still gonna have to have a motion. Okay, so Mr. Hunter made a motion, Mr. Long second. That will be a roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Dunnell?
Aye.
Mr. Hess? Ms. Weber? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Long? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Hudson? Mr. Smith? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, the next and last item on the agenda is the building report. Here at 189, I've finalized the elevator insurance claim. They sent an adjuster out to look at the new mechanicals that we put in up in the penthouse. They also looked at some of the additional work that had to be done in the hoistway. So now I'm just waiting on the insurance company to finalize things and get us our the extra monies that we're owed for some of that additional work that we've discussed. Coming in here today, you might have seen maintenance staff striped. Actually, they painted the crosswalk and they redid the striping in the alley. So that looks good. Several other minor issues that, really nothing is worth discussing in detail. Clogged sinks, leaky faucets, stuff like that. Courthouse coordination is going to have to begin, as soon as possible. There are many files that still remain. Sandy has been working diligently down there, but let's face it, there's a lot down there, and she's working diligently on that. So I'll keep coordination with her on the removal of those files. movement of current employees. So there's current employees in the basement right now. Where are they going to go? What that's going to look like? Because if we want to start November 1, a lot of this stuff is going to have to happen here very soon. The Illinois Attorney General's office is going to be here next week on Tuesday to inspect our ADA upgrades that we completed 2 years ago. The courtroom 204 and the ramp going down in the basement. And I had to jog my memory because I can't often remember what I did yesterday, let alone 2 years ago, but we postponed the meeting due to COVID back in 2020. And they're just now getting around to coming out to take a look at it. So that's something that I'll report back to you next month on the findings there. Don't expect any issues, but I'll report back to you next month. Doug Bright will be in attendance with me at that meeting next week with I think it's next week. I'll have to double check my calendar. Might be the week after, but I'll report back to you at next month's meeting. Annex and old jail, the bathroom partitions, which we've discussed, are complete. So that's in. The temporary chiller is on site. If anybody's been by the annex, that's at the southeast corner of the building. We have the temporary chiller there now. We have that chiller for 30 days. The rental on that, if we want to go another 30 days, it's $10,500 for another month. I'm hopeful that this will get us well into October, so hopefully we won't need it. So hopefully we're fine. I wanted to try to roll the dice and not get it at all. However, good thing we did, because I think we have 90s forecasted for tomorrow maybe. So good thing that's on site to keep that building cool and operating. The new unit's been ordered. Mr. Snipes at the board meeting asked me about warranty information, so hopefully he's listening. The first year we have a warranty on parts and labor, and then years 2 through 5 is parts only. So it's a 5-year warranty on parts, 1-year warranty on labor. At the old jail next month, I'm going to discuss the cracks at the old jail. The facade has many cracks. The windows are in need of some repair, sealing, caulking, etc. So I'll have more to discuss with you next month on that. Morgue door, several months ago we discussed the installation of a new door, a medical type entrance that opens with a sensor, so when they are moving in and out of there, that'll make their job a little bit easier. That'll be installed next week. We recently I outsourced preventative maintenance on all of our UPS systems that we have at the jails. There's 6 of them. And I'll have more on this for you next month as well. But there's several batteries that look like they're going to need to be replaced, and we have one inverter that's 18 years old, and then we can't get parts for it. So that's something that we'll have to discuss next month as well. All of these batteries, new inverter, it's pricey. So, but when you have an 18-year-old unit, and parts are not readily available, it's something that we're going to have to look into possibly doing something there. What else? We've been working through stripping and waxing floors. The crew will be working this weekend in the medical office doing that. We've had a lot of call-ins the last month out there for a variety of reasons, HVAC issues, radio issues, and I'd just like to give a kudos to my department for always answering their phone and being available, because that makes my job a lot easier when my people are answering their phones and they're available, and they've done an excellent job. So the only other thing I have is animal control. I was over there the other day. We're going to be installing new locks at animal control to get that keyed the same way the current animal control facility is, just to have everything uniform. So that's something that we'll be working on here. We had to order them. Once we get that in, we'll get the locks changed over there at animal control. So that's all I got.
Any question, Mr. Hunter?
Not a question, but kudos to you. I mentioned to you earlier when you came in, I happened to be out to Jerome Combs yesterday with Rosemary as well too, and I remember the job they were doing in the front part. I don't know what you call the entryway or whatever, and that's some hard work. Guys working on their knees doing the whatever it was, a tile or whatever.
Yeah.
But it looks like 10 stars, you know. You're talking,
I can't take credit for the work, but I can take credit for the oversight, I suppose. So
yeah,
thank
it
you.
looks really good. I'd
you.
like to see some pictures taken, maybe something put up on the wall. Really good stuff.
Thank you.
It gives a good impression, you know, for the county as well as the sheriff's department.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Mr. Hess.
Thank you again, Chairman. Wes, we talked several meetings ago when we talked about painting the alley, about putting rumble strips or something in there to slow them down. Has anything ever been done with the city on that?
Yeah, Chairman can speak to that.
Yeah, I've actually got something here.
Okay.
I talked with the mayor last night about that, if I could. So, two things. I apologize to your guys who painted those lines out there, because they're gonna have to repaint them. The city's buying a machine to mill and fill alleys, and so they're gonna come through here and do our alley, because we had people falling during tax season, coming across the alley. It deserves to be fixed. So, and they're doing that. So associated with that, we also talked about the problem you're discussing with the people that turn left to avoid the light and they do 50 down the alley.
Yeah, they fly.
It's bad. Delbert got hit out there before. So, I mean, it's not just a recent thing. This has been going on for a while. The state will not extend the island past the alley because then it makes the turn lane not long enough, the left turn lane. So I had an idea I was going to present to the committee when I had better time to really flesh it out, but maybe we ask the state to curb off the alley and you have to go around the block and enter to go in that way, and then you have to go out go back the other way down the alley to leave. I don't know if that's the solution. We could have a little courtyard up in the front, you know, put a little picnic table up there or something, whatever, I don't know. But we'd seal it off from the road so you cannot come in or out that way. That's just a thought, because it is a hazard. It's very dangerous. And when people pull out, they block traffic for both ways because they're maybe trying to go all the way across the street. I've seen that a lot too. I've had somebody miss me and go up on the curb one day. I mean, it was, maybe they didn't try to miss me. Maybe they just had bad aim. But you know what I mean? It's a real problem. So I want to at least come back to you with a bunch of ideas, but no, the alley problem is going to be taken care of. The left turn lane thing is going to take some more work. Make sense?
My concern is when the tax season was on hot and heavy, we have handicap parking over there. And some of these people just can't get out of the way fast enough. And if you sit out in the parking lot for an hour and just watch them come through there, if that light turns, they're headed north down that alley. We're fortunate we haven't had somebody hit.
Absolutely.
bad.
I had a similar run-in like the chairman. I mean, they fly down there.
And so if we took out the alley there and extended the parking lot all the way over, we could have the handicap parking
right
closer,
against-
and people are not coming down the alley. That's just an idea I had at about 9:30 last night. So it might have been, you know, not
Something
the
we'll
best.
want to
Yeah.
at least visit is the tunnel and the resurfacing and weight and things of that nature. So
I agree.
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Is there any old business? Any old business to come before this committee? Any new business? Any new business? Any other business? Mr. Featherland.
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Ms. Hudson. All right, everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, the same sign.
Cheese, same time.